All right, we're good.
Good. I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. And we have a new member of the board to introduce. And her name is Amanda Karch. She's the Executive Director of the Columbia Green Workforce Development Board. And we welcome you. And Amanda, let us introduce ourselves. If you'll tell us we'll go once around the room, tell us your name and the business organization you're affiliated with. I'm Jim Calvin. I'm with Calvin Communications.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rachel Levine. I am a realtor with Hinkin Realty in Germantown and also advertising branding for 30 years.
Captain Piro, chairman of the IDA, Columbia County IDA.
Rick Cummings, Baltimore Gas. That's it.
Brad Mahoney, Columbia Memorial Hospital. Mike Tucker.
Amy Heller.
Mary, yeah, CEDC, administrative assistant.
And alumna of Columbia.
Yes.
I'm Sarah Gay, public staff.
Hi, Sean Sawyer, Alana. Neighbor.
Yeah.
Rachel, have you know me, I'm Hudson Cable. I work with Amanda on different things. Rachel's on our board. So. Yeah.
Justin Golden, Banker
She knows me all too well.
County. Mike Lawrence, photography.
Martha Lane, hi,
How are you?
Steve Vandenberg with CEDC. Good morning.
How are you?
Amanda, if we get ahead of you, go too fast, get you confused, don't hesitate to stop us and ask for clarification, okay? We're glad you're here. I want to start with the executive committee, and the topic is forming a search committee to identify the best qualified person to succeed Mike Tucker when he retires from CEDC in the not too distant future. He's not going anywhere for the moment, thank God. Mike is under contract with us through the end of 2025 and has expressed openness to extending that into 2026. And we'll be discussing that with him. But the process of gathering all of our information, developing a profile, qualifications, a timeline, compensation range, and actually conduct interviews and screen the applicants and so forth. It's going to take a while, and I wanted to get started. So what the executive committee is recommending is that the board approve the formation of the committee and the composition of the committee. And it's proposed that there be 8 members of the search committee. The core will be the members of the executive committee, and that's Rick Cummings, Mike Malinsky, Tara Gay, Brian Mahoney, and myself, and 3 other individuals. One is our friend Rachel Levine, who chairs, as you know, the governance and nominating committee, and Mark Lane as a representative of the staff. And the last one is someone who's not here, but used to be here. His name is Jim McErer. And Jim, many of you know, is a retired commercial lending officer and served for many years as board member of the CEDC and actually was part of the team that hired Mike Tucker as our president and CEO. So that's the recommendation. There's a proposed resolution packet, and happy to try to answer any questions you may have before we consider acting on that resolution. Thoughts?
I just wanted to say that years ago when I was at the Center for Economic Growth, Neil Gola from Price Chopper told me never tell anyone when you're going to leave, because and I think that this is a great process, because I think what it will do, it will not only ultimately give you insights into where you want to go. At least my goal is June of 2026, but the obviously my contract expires in December of 2025. But I think it'll help us do strategic planning from an operational standpoint, as well as redefine some of staffing roles, because and also give you the opportunity to find someone who has the skill sets necessary to move the organization forward. So I'm excited about it.
Other questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the formation of the committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And now on to the loan committee. And still on vacation, what, Martha, do you want to take it from here?
Sure.
Thank you.
The portfolio dashboard is in your packet. I went through this in great detail with the loan committee last week. Loan client A, I'm going to ask Andy Howard to help me with a demand letter, because quite frankly, I've had it, we've had it, and we'll see where that gets us. Loan client B, we were authorized by the loan committee to write that loan off. We deemed it was uncollectible. And loan client C, we got good news last night. They have entered into a contract to sell their largest asset, and we expect them to resume full payments next month. Loan client D, that's a very small loan, and the owner has had health issues, and he's been very forthcoming with us and doing his best to get caught up. Loan client E came in with a payment yesterday. They're still 30 days behind, but they continue to make monthly payments. Are there any questions on the dashboard?
Which one you're gonna write off? This B?
B, that's correct.
Motion to accept the loan portfolio.
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, now on to loan applications.
The first one on the list is the Income Center for the Arts. They've been in Columbia County for a number of years. They're based in Income. They're a nonprofit. They're in the final stages of a capital campaign, and they're just concerned they may be $50,000 short when push comes to shove. So they are requesting a loan in that amount so that they know they can finish the renovations of the building that they purchased earlier this year. This is an 84-month note. It's a CEDC loan. The monthly payments are $706.70. The interest rate is 5%, which is a rate that we have offered to other nonprofits. We'll have a lien on business assets, and we do have a resolution from their board of directors.
Questions, comments about this one?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Del Fiore.
El Fiore, there's an existing florist in New Lebanon, and we have a buyer, a woman who has been working for the florist for the past 7 months, learning the business and learning the trade. This loan request is for $25,000, which will be split between the two loan funds. She also qualifies for the Columbia Forward Grant in the amount of $2,500. This will be a 5-year loan. The interest rate is 3.75 because it is a Columbia Forward loan. The purpose is to make the down payment on the business. We'll have a lien on business assets and the personal guarantee of the principal. And she was introduced to us by the supervisor in New Lebanon. And of course, the individuals in New Lebanon are very happy that the business will continue. Are there any questions?
When we get there, if this goes through, New Lebanon, you might be able to answer this. Does that add to our list, like up there? Is that one of the towns we hadn't quite served yet?
Well, certainly adding to the list in Lebanon, underserved communities within the county still remain, Conant and Gallup.
I'll make a motion for this.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Pritzl Press.
Pritzl Press, page 8 in your packet. Good morning, everyone. Pritzl Press LLC located in Clover. They are a toy manufacturer. His request of us was a $25,000 loan. This too qualifies for the $2,500 Columbia Forward Grant. Term of 72 months with a monthly payment of $388.29. Interest rate on this loan would be 3.75%. Purpose being pay down higher interest debt. The collateral being a mortgage on the personal residence and a lien on business assets, along with, of course, the personal guarantee of the principal and his spouse. This is Prixel Press LLC. Thank you.
Steve, this is not their first loan with CEDC.
It is not. They are an existing client of ours with an excellent payment history. He was also a recipient of our 2024 micro enterprise grant. So,
Any other questions, comments? If not, is there a
I
motion?
I have a question, Jim.
Rich, go ahead.
Is it something that you see often where we're approving these loans that they have such high credit card debt?
Yes, in this case, it's going to wipe out his credit card debt, but yes. Many years ago, we weren't allowed to use SBA money to pay down other debt, but if it's a higher interest situation, then that is an approved use of funds.
But do we verify that credit card debt is for business, or can it be just travel?
Yes, I've received 2 years of credit card statements. We do have to verify that for the SBA.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you. Mr. Tucker. Oh, sorry, Mike.
And does this get rid of like the last of our 24 grant? Was that depleted?
that is correct. These two loans that you've approved this morning will have consumed the balance of the Columbia Forward grant funds.
Good morning. First up is the treasurer's report. Our balance sheet has grown. We do have an increase in our assets of $488,000, primarily due to the additional funds that we've drawn down from the SBA for the loan fund. As you can see, loans receivable from the SBA have gone up from $775,000 at this end of August last year to $1,285,000 for an increase of $510,000, and our loan fund is up $236,000. Those are funds that now we have on the street. We've had for some time been kind of in the 50 to 60% range of money on the street, but now we're with Steve and Martha's continued increase in volume, have gotten a greater proportion of the funds on the street. And at the loan committee, Steve did make a presentation on what we call our evergreen CEDC loan fund. In other words, how much can we, with a 15% loss rate, which we've never had, how much do we have to put on the street each year based on a 5 to 7 year payback, so that we always have enough money to make additional loans? And that number is about
$45,000 a month.
So, which is just over between $500,000 and $600,000. It's the balance sheet has not changed significantly on a proportionate basis since last month. We are getting Kat Leiden and I will be working next week on closing out September. Since it is the end of a quarter, we will then meet with RBT, the accounting firm that we use to review our internal books, as because UHY is unable to do that now that we have so much federal funding through that comes to us through the state, because of the single audit requirement that they be totally independent. They can't advise us on our day-to-day bookkeeping. On the income statement, again, we are behind budget on administrative revenue because there are several IDA projects, both at the county level and at the city of Hudson, that have not yet closed. And as you know, we get 10% of the IDA agency fee up to $10,000 per project. And we had budgeted for 2 projects last year that have not yet closed. We're optimistic that a portion of those funds will be realized this year. On the expense side, the only category that we're over budget on of any significance is grant expense. And That's because we only budgeted the $5,000 for the grant to the Columbia County Capital Resource Corporation to keep them in business. The difference is with the funds that you'll see up above, where it's 31,800. We didn't budget for the incoming. We had deferred the funds from the county for the Columbia Forward Grant Program. And as we make a grant, we book revenue. So we're $31,000 over budget, 31,800 over budget on grants, which makes up the fact that we hadn't budgeted for either the income or the expense, but they do balance out. We are currently net income of 65,000 with a budget projected of -43, so we're $108,000 to the good. And we are working on the 2025 budget as well as a 3-year budget that we'll go through that. Will take us out 3 to 5 years. The main part of that is the salaries. So I did work on that over the weekend, and we are at a point where the other expenses are pretty much constant with the in terms of budgeting out at a escalated increase based on inflation. Any questions on the treasury report? If not, Mr. Chairman, I can go to
Yes.
Motion
to accept the treasurer's report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
with respect to the president's report, I apologize for my lengthy memo, but I thought it would be an opportunity to give everyone an overview. It really has several purposes. You may recall that several months ago, Jim asked me to put together a guidebook or a roadmap for him if I didn't show up today, if I didn't show up tomorrow for work. And I thought I got started into it. It was very difficult to figure out how to make that presentation other than giving him the phone number for gossips so he could get it out there and go from there. So this also then evolved into something that I thought would serve as a foundation or a base for me to give shorter written reports in the future so that there's more time for the board to have discussion as opposed to going through a litany of what we did as a staff on since our last summer vacation. Having said that, it will not be this lengthy going forward, but I do think it gave me and the staff certainly made us proud of the depth and breadth of what we do here. It also may be something we want to make sure is not available to potential candidates for this job in the future. But I hope it was useful, and again, it was meant for primarily so Jim could see, if someone had to come in tomorrow and pick up the pieces where they would have to prioritize, and at the same time, it will help inform the search process, but also it will enable us to have more effective board meetings. And I want to thank Rich Nesbitt and Jim for the discussion of coming up with the idea of a written report to streamline some of my reporting. Are there any questions? Very quickly, we did have a Board of Supervisors broadband subcommittee meeting last night, as well as the monthly, every other month Economic Development Committee board meeting of the supervisors. We had Josh Rybert, the Director of Broadband for the state, as our virtual speaker. We also had Anne Marie Laney from the Capital Region Codes and Code effort, who is heading up the digital equity component of the state's broadband program in our region. We also were advised yesterday by the Empire State Development that we have been determined to be eligible for the $150,000 grant we applied for, $75,000 for 2 years to further our broadband efforts. And they're going to interview us to determine whether we qualify for funding. So, we passed the first hurdle and we have that interview on Thursday. I'm also happy to report that the Economic Development Committee of the Board of Supervisors approved the recommendation of the county's ARPA committee to give us an additional $150,000 for Columbia Forward for 2025 and an additional $45,000 to advance the affordable housing initiative through the end of 2025. That will now go to the Board of Supervisors Finance Committee tomorrow, and then to the full Board of Supervisors on October 10th. I thought that several of you were at the broadband forum. There's a lot of information for an hour, but I think we certainly demonstrated to the state that Columbia County has, for the last 8 years, been at the forefront of solving the broadband issue. And the fact that when we started this effort at the request of the Board of Supervisors, there were 10,000 underserved addresses and 3,000 unserved addresses for a total of 13,000. And we're now somewhere between 600 and 700 addresses. They'll be hard to complete because they're the last mile. We do think that we have really brought the process to a conclusion, but there's still work to be done. Any questions? If not, that concludes my report.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Mike, and thanks to you and the staff for putting together this report. It illustrates once again the extraordinary scope and breadth of the activities we're involved in. Serves as an illustration to the search committee how daunting the task they have in front of them to find someone of your caliber to keep all these plates spinning in the air.
And I would just point out, Mr. Chairman, Chris Brown is not here today because he's at the New York State Affordable Rural Housing Conference in Lake George. So he gets to see the fall foliage.
I have a question about the Columbia Forward grant. So when we give out the loans, we let them kind of take up 10% of that, and that's from the grant. Does the town or the county tell us what the percentage is on that loan, or is that something that we did here in house? Because I know it was really low, and we had talked about that a few months back about raising it.
We came to that agreement.
The county, when they set up the program, limited it to 10% of the grant. The grant is 10% of the loan.
Right. But I mean, like our 3 point, whatever the interest rate.
Well, remember it was COVID.
Right.
And interest rates were 7% and 8%. And they gave us that money on the pretext that money would be loaned at 3.75%.
So what I'm asking is, we're not locked into that percentage rate anymore, are we?
Well, we're out of the money. We've used up all the money. And we did not give that rate to people with our own loan funds.
Yeah.
It was just that the $500,000 that was tied to the county's grant.
So you're asking what the rate will be?
Yeah, in the future, when it's coming in, are we?
We don't have any more Columbia Forward grant money. We'll only have Columbia Forward operating money.
Oh, okay.
So the issue will be, all of our loans will be at the rate the committee and the board sets, which right now is
7 3/4.
7 3/4. Which, it's certainly lower than credit cards, but and certainly about what you might get, a little lower than what you get at a bank with your credit. With the credit.
Similar.
Yeah.
Depends on the loan.
Yeah. So.
The minutes for the August 27, 2024 meeting have been included in your packet. Anyone with questions or revisions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. CEDC meetings for October 15th. We still are on for the Finance Committee. Is that right? Good. 21st. Loan Committee meets at 8:30. And those of you on the Search Committee, we're now going to confirm that the Search Committee will meet on the 21st at 10 a.m. Here. And the board meeting, remember, is October 22nd, changed from October 29th. So October 22nd is the board meeting next month. Any members of the public present? If so, we're glad to see you, and here's your opportunity for comment. Hearing none. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're adjourned.